Hillary Clinton is apparently somewhat puzzled as to why she's not doing better against Donald Trump. Here she is as she wonders out loud last night during a video conference call with a labor union. Watch this.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Well, the choice for working families has never been clearer. I need your help to get Donald Trump's record out to everybody.
An interesting piece of video here to talk about the Clinton campaign.
We're not going to go that far into it. I just want to play it. It's a joke. Why are you yelling at us, Hillary? I mean, maybe I'm not the right person to levy that criticism because I do a lot of yelling. Why am I not up 50%? You might be asking.
Call with a labor union. Watch this.
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? Well, the choice for working families has never been clearer.
Look at those eyes of actual evil. Fingers, nails on a chalkboard would be like Pavarotti compared to this, what her voice is. But look at her absolutely insane.
The choice for working families has never been clearer. I need your help to get Donald Trump's record out to everybody.
Oh my goodness, things age better than others. That was Hillary Clinton. She's angry that people don't recognize her greatness. Oh, we're going to stop the screen with that and say good afternoon, everybody on the East Coast. Good morning, West Coast. Good evening, England. Let me bring this out here. Have you ever seen, when was the last time we saw George Soros and Hillary Clinton in the same room? Have you guys ever noticed, like, the older Hillary gets, the more she starts to look like George Soros? Like, in a very meaningful, look, this is not the best side-by-side comparison. Let me see something. Is Hillary Clinton George Soros? And let's just see the images. As she gets older, she begins to look more and more like George Soros with those bags under her eyes. I mean, this is as close as we're going to get. I mean, I tell you, this is what happens when evil consumes your soul. You end up looking the same. Oh, but we're going to have a little bit of Hillary Clinton on the menu for this show. The menu of discussion, people, so that nobody misunderstands, because we're also going to be talking a little bit about political violence. Political violence. The term of the week, the new talking point, political violence. We strongly condemn political violence. Evil ages you like nothing else. We strongly condemn political violence, referring to 2 failed assassination attempts, the first of which resulted in murder and grievous bodily harm to 2 other Americans. That's just political violence. But we're going to get ahead of it. But first of all, we have a guest coming on. I have so many jokes about her Twitter handle, which is some bitch I know. It's some bitch I know with 2 eyes in it. And you know her from Twitter. If you don't, you're going to know her after this, and it's going to be fantastic. She's phenomenal and doing great work on the interwebs. Before we even get there, and as I'm sure you've noticed as you came into this stream, where you noticed it said, this stream contains a paid promotion. If you're watching it on CommieTube, if you're not watching it on CommieTube, you're watching it on Rumble, and you haven't seen that, and if you have Rumble Premium like I do, you don't see any ads, but you're going to get the sponsor of today's show. There's 2 of them, and one of which is the Wellness Company. People, listen up. The world is getting more unpredictable by the day. Political insanity, rumors of civil war, acts of civil war, overt acts to trigger a civil war, unstable stock market, and now the looming threat of a new global health emergency. Did you know that the Bird Flu Summit is coming in October? Eerily reminiscent of Event 201 that foreshadowed the COVID pandemic. By the way, if you don't know what Event 201 is, look it up. This time, by the way, on the list of their discussion items is mass fatality management planning. And when we play a clip about Secret Service Director Routh, you're going to know that, I mean, they're telegraphing what they're going to do. It's sort of the theme of this episode. If that doesn't send chills down your spine, I don't know what will. Here's the good news, though. You can have everything you need to be secured and prepared. It's better to be secure than scared. It's not really that. There's a logo in there somewhere. The Wellness Company created the medical emergency kit, a kit that everyone should have at home, and you should have at least one of these. They're packed with life-saving meds like ivermectin, amoxicillin, Z-Pak, and they have guide that tells you how to take all of it. It's backed by experts like Dr. Peter McCullough. Imagine this: no more frantic searches for a doctor, no more emergency waiting room visits. Just a few clicks, the kit is delivered to your front door. It's times like these, having your medical emergency kit, it's not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Protect your family, protect yourselves. Now, head over to twc.health/Viva. Use promo code Viva for $30 off. Don't wait until it's too late. Take control of your life. Protect yourself, protect your family. TWC Health, promo code Viva for $30 off. And when we talk about protecting your family is one thing. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And there is no better prevention than making sure that you're staying healthy and eating healthy and drinking good coffee that is not loaded with nasty pesticides, mold, all that other crap. People, 1775. First of all, this is a beautiful landing page. And if anybody doesn't appreciate how beautiful this is, aesthetic, oh, look at the way the bee just covers over creates the sense of depth. It's beautiful. But by the way, if you haven't tasted the coffee, it's absolutely delicious. How many lies were you fed by the media before we all wake up to the smell of the coffee? While they're pushing their narratives, 1775 coffee is brewing something else. Freedom. The big corporate coffee chains, they suck, they hate you, they preach woke agendas, and their coffee tastes like crap, truthfully. They'll happily sling you overpriced, moldy swamp water that might pass for coffee, all while lining their pockets with the very money of the people they want to censor and beat down and oppress. Not 1775 coffee. Proudly roasted by Rumble, where free speech thrives and flavor actually matters. Our single origin, high altitude beans are as bold as the future, bold as the fight for the future. So take a good sip, get up, wake up in the morning, head to 1775coffee.com, use promo code VIVA, get 15% off your order. Every cup of 1775 coffee you brew supports creators like me and everyone else on Free Speech Rumble. Create the parallel economy. Do not bow down to the mob. 1775 coffee, promo code VIVA. All right, links are in the description. People, Hillary Clinton, where do we start? We have now, I was trying to think of a catchy way of phrasing this by way of tweet. You know, the left normalized and diluted to irrelevance words like racist, xenophobe, fascist, Nazi. I mean, they diluted all of these words to the point where they mean nothing, and they just get to use them flippantly, and nobody takes it seriously anymore, much to the detriment of actual racism, actual xenophobia, actual bigotry. We have lived now through an era where they have also basically normalized they'll call it political violence while they purport to condemn it. They have normalized assassination attempts on our political leaders. Do you remember once upon a time, I couldn't find the clip where they were saying like, this is not how we do politics in America. We don't poison our rivals like Putin did to Navalny allegedly in Russia. We don't do that here. No, here, we just have a secret service that is derelict in its own duties. I mean, they could derelict their own dereliction of duty. That results in not one, but two, but for the grace of God, failed assassination attempts. The only difference between the first failed assassination attempt and the second is that the first one still ended in the murder of Corey Camperatore and the grievous injury to two other Americans. That's like, oh, what's the news cycle this week? Another assassination attempt. Let's move on and talk about how Trump brought it on himself. Normalized assassination attempts, where once upon a time, you know, when they're successful, it leads to 60 years of inquiry, committees, hearings, conspiracy theories. 6 decades of that resulted from JFK. We sort of maybe know the truth, but not really. See, everyone, I should probably update my knowledge on this. There were 4 assassination attempts, actually, says Anita Smith. I know I've heard that. And then the question is, let me bring it up. And by the way, hold on one second. Let me just go tell her. Let me tell, we are live. You got the link in DM. There we go. Let's do this. Okay. People are saying this. Well, let's stick with 2 because, you know, you have the 2 that are very, very concrete, tangible, violent. It's like we're expected now to just have this normalized that, oh, this week, another attempt. These are the types of things. The fact that he has, by the grace of any form of cosmic intervention, godlike thing, whatever you want to call it, escaped both, we would be in, I mean, it's civil war, if not World War III, but they seem hell-bent on getting to World War III anyhow. And they're just like, oh yeah, well, Secret Service is doing its thing. We don't understand how lucky we are not to be in some form of a civil war in America, because if you kill their political leader after the vitriol and the overt calls to violence that we've witnessed for not over the last decade, for the last decade, if it happens and some unhinged loony gets through the many gaping holes in Secret Service protection, alleged protection, what does anybody think is going to happen? We're just going to move on. That's what he gets for saying so many terrible things. He really brought this on himself. Let me pull up a tweet from the other day where they were. It was like, hey, now do girls in skirts. Let me get this tweet. It's they are literally blaming Trump for people trying to kill Trump. Like, Trump spews such violent political hatred against Haitians, and nothing comes of it other than a number of overseas unsubstantiated hoax bomb threats. He's brought it on himself. Let me bring you one up here. I went a little hard, to put it mildly, on Rick Wilson, the co-founder of the Lincoln Project, for something he said back in 2015, because he deserves it. And you've all seen the 8-second clip, but what you need to see actually is the longer clip. Listen to this. This is from Chris Hayes. What's the name of the show? This disgusting show. Oh, forget. I don't know what it is. From 2015. Listen to this.
Here's what I would say is my position if I'm, say, a big sort of GOP donor class member, all right? If I'm in the vaunted Republican establishment, I am psyched about Carson's rise, because here's what it makes me think. In 2012, we got that chart of the primary leader that happened in that summer in 2011, where everyone sort of gets a turn, right? And those were truncated short cycles, 4, 6, 8 weeks, and eventually went into Romney. Carson's rise at the expense of Trump makes me think, hopefully, if I'm a donor class establishment Republican, the same thing's happening here, it's just on a longer time scale. Does that scan to you?
Does that scan to you? What the hell does that mean?
Somewhat, but here's the thing. Trump is still a very powerful force right now, and he's still holding a lot of the part of the base that is very activated by his message, the nativist message that's got a fraction of the base very energized. And the donor class can't just sit back on the sidelines and say, oh, well, don't worry, this will all work itself out. They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
I don't even want to say the words, because someone will clip it and then suggest that I said it. This is from Rick Wilson, founder of the Lincoln Project, which is, given what he's saying right here, an odd coincidence, if such a thing exists, of his business venture. You heard what he said. If I can pull up the window again, I'm going to play it just one more time. This was on Paul Gosar. Here. And we'll just replay that last little part there. You think? Here.
Base very energized. And the donor class can't just sit back on the sidelines and say, oh, well, don't worry, this will all work itself out. They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. And that's a fact.
No, I try to, be forgiving, understanding. What did he mean? Was it a Freudian slip of the tongue? What the hell did he mean by that? Now, the clip that everybody sees on the internet is 7 or 8 seconds long, and it's the last 8 seconds of this video. I was trying to find the full interview because I wanted to see what was Chris Hayes' response to that egregious, black on white, categoric call to violence. This is not, we're going to have to eliminate Trump, as Dan Goldman said. Dan Goldman, the sneaky dirtbag of a lawyer, says it in such a way that, I didn't say kill him. What great Gretchen Whitmer, I didn't say kill Trump, but I did put a little secret 86-45 in the backdrop. Oh, but that 86 doesn't mean eight miles out, 6 feet deep. It just means nix him from the menu. I wasn't calling for violence because I'm a sneaky, deceitful little dirtbag. Gretchen Whitmer. Dan Goldman comes out and says, he needs to be eliminated. Oh no, I meant eliminated from the ticket. I meant a political elimination. No, put a bullet in has a very, very unequivocal, categoric, non-ambiguous definition term to it. And so I want to say, did Chris Hayes push back. Did he say, no, you can't say that on the show? You know, if you go on Tim Pool and you even say something remotely stupid that could be interpreted as a call to violence, he'll cut the show. He'll cut the part, and he'll probably never invite you back because he doesn't mess around when it comes to that type of rubbish. So I couldn't find the original full interview. I wonder why, but I found the transcript. This is the transcript from the episode. October 28, 2015. All in with Chris Hayes, inside with Jensen. What the hell's wrong with these sick, disgusting perverts? Set that aside. Maybe I'm the one who's guilty of Oniswaki Maliponce right now. All in with Chris and on the inside with Psaki. That's just they're totally disgusting, perverted things. Whatever. This is the transcript of it, and you go down to look for the word bullet, and then you see the transcript right here. Rick Wilson, who people were calling the potato file word on Twitter yesterday, and I still don't know why, but I think I have a better understanding now. Wilson, somewhat, but here's the thing. Trump is still a powerful force, yada, 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 yada. The donor class can't just sit back and silent and say, oh, well, don't worry, this will work itself out. They're still going to have to go out and in Donald Trump. And that's a fact. They're still going to eventually have to figure out ways to find candidates that are going to be the caliber and the quality level to post up Hillary Clinton. Because right now, I will tell you, no matter who you support or how much you like them, neither Donald Trump or Ben Carson is ready to go up against the Clinton machine. Well, above and beyond being a calling to violence piece of shit that he is, he's also an idiot whose idiotic words have turned out to be wildly inaccurate. So congratulations, Rick. You're an idiot on both ends. Chris Hayes didn't say a bloody thing. He didn't say, shut up, you don't talk like that. This isn't what. No, he sat there, and from what I understand, he nodded with a little fecal eating grin in agreement. And these are the people now coming out in droves, repeating the Alex Soros-funded talking point. We strongly condemn political violence. Go to Twitter, put in the words political violence, and look through and see what's going on, and see who's saying what, in tandem, like a bunch of, you guessed it, mockingbirds. Just repeating the message. And you all wonder where Operation Mockingbird came from or what it refers to. I just put that together, and I'm not even sure that that's the case, but you all wonder? That's what it refers to. Just go out, repeat the line. Here's your paycheck. Here's your $20 million a year. Rachel Maddow, repeat the line. Safe and effective. Go out and get your shot. It's time. Here you go, Hochul. Here's your, however the hell much you sold your soul for. 6 months. That's when you have to get them. Get your kids. You don't want them in a cold, dark room. You don't want them with COVID. That is Operation Mockingbird. And they're all coming out now. The people who have been calling for political violence against Trump and his extreme MAGA Republicans for a decade. The ones who have now attempted to take his life apparently 4 times, but concretely that we've all seen 2 times, have killed his supporters at his rally, shot them. These mother effers are the ones coming out now and saying political violence has no place in society. Who is the guy? I don't want to forget his name, who was summarily shot in the chest at the street fight with that guy who then ended up killing himself after he did a Vice interview and disclosed his location. Yeah. Trump supporters get violently assaulted and murdered. Trump 2 times in the last 2 months. It's not political violence, by the way. Let me take a deep breath, cleanse my palate. The older Viva gets, the more he looks like Carlos Santana at Woodstock. Well, I'll take that as a compliment, but I do make the joke. There is a Lonely Island song, Santana DVX. It's with Carlos Santana and the Lonely Island gang, and they're talking about his champagne. And there is a line in it where he says, slap a bitch with my hair. And so I do make that joke whenever my hair gets wet, and I just go and like just whip people with it like that. I didn't know the murderer of that guy ended himself. He didn't. I think it was suicide by cop. If anybody remembers that guy's name, I don't care to remember it. But you got to see what's going on, and it's repulsive, and it comes from all of the same filthy, dirty, rotten POS scoundrels out there. I've been swearing a little bit too much over the last 2 days. I got angry with Lincoln Project and Rick Wilson yesterday. These people should be in jail. Like, if there's anybody who should be in jail for speech, and I ordinarily I would say like, yeah, no, look, hey, I know the Brandenburg test. They locked up Frank Mackey, Douglas Mackey. Sorry, they locked up Douglas Mackey for a meme. A mother effer gets up there and says, you got to put a bullet in a presidential candidate, and he's nothing. And they're going after Elon Musk for his tweet. We'll get there in a second. Chris P.O.S. Murphy. It's okay to admit that these two things are both true at the same time. One, it's heartbreaking and unacceptable that Donald Trump was once again the target of political violence. Before I go crazy, let me just finish the tweet. It's heartbreaking and unacceptable that, I don't know why he sounds like an old grandmother, but it doesn't matter. No, I'll say it in whatever. It's heartbreaking and unacceptable that Donald Trump was once again the target of political violence. Oh, but number two, no leader has done more to inspire and endorse political violence than Donald Trump. Really, you stupid piece of crap. How? Oh, because at one point in his rally, he said, get him out of here, I'll pay you. Oh, that's the political violence? What political violence are Trump supporters undertaking? The answer is a big fat effing zero, save and except for your hogwash fedsurrection of a January 6th machination of your wildest fantasies. The Trump supporters, save and except for a pocket on January 6th where it got violent, they are not up to political violence whatsoever. You compare even January 6th to the extent that we'll concede there was political violence. That's political violence, by the way. To the extent that we'll concede that January 6th had violent elements and violent pockets to it. You compare that to the Summer of Love, which resulted in the murder of how many people? 100 some odd people? David Dorn, forget his name. He's, the Democrats love the black vote until it's time to actually fight for black lives. Yeah, Black Lives Matter, except for David Dorn, murdered, protecting a shop from scoundrel criminals during the Summer of Love. Yeah, and I take issue with this whitewashing of the term political violence. On the one hand, these bastard scoundrels normalize assassination attempts. This is par for the course now. Oh, you want to run for politics as a Republican? Well, you better get used to attempting to be murdered. We're not Putin. We don't poison our rivals. We just try to blow their heads off on live stream television. These mother effers, they've normalized assassination in American politics, as I say, Canadian politics. They've normalized assassination in politics, and they've whitewashed assassinations as political violence. You know what's political violence, Chris Murphy? And I just tweeted this out to him. You know what's political violence? Spray painting your neighbor's lawn sign. Stealing your neighbor's lawn sign. Maybe a scuffle at a rally is political violence. Murder and attempted murder is not political violence. It's violence. It's murder. It's criminality. And you're not just sanctioning it by whitewashing it. You've been promoting it for a decade. All right, hold on. Let me bring where was the one that I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Oh, it was here we go. It was letters to the editor. And I can see how these filthy, dirty, rotten scoundrels rationalize their evil to themselves. They sit there and say, "Well, we're just publishing someone's opinion. I mean, who are you to say that we can't publish someone's opinion?" Listen to this from Cincinnati.com, who's owned by the Inquirer. Trump brings these assassinations upon himself. Letters. When Donald Trump continues to lie about losing the 2020 election and illegal immigrants in Springfield, he brings the crazies out, and one of those crazies tried to shoot him. Letters to the editor. When Donald Trump continues to lie about losing an election, you know what that is code for? Thinly veiled code. Mother effer, you admit that you lost the election, or we will try to kill you. This is what the Democrats are up to now. It went from we will try to deplatform you if you rightly criticize the election, because the criticism was accurate and in some cases accurate, other cases not so accurate. But you know what the other thing is? You're allowed to be wrong on the internet. It went from we'll deplatform you for election denial to we will prosecute you because of, oh, they're not prosecuting anybody. Yes, they are going after the lawyers for having given legal advice, which they deem to be attempts to overturn the election. They're disbarring lawyers for opinions, for proceedings that they took based on what might have turned out to be factually incorrect information. And now they're saying, you continue to deny the election, mother effer, we're going to kill you. Oh, I'm not going to do it. It's going to be the crazies. It's going to be the crazies who are going to come out and try to kill you if you continue to say these things. So you better stop saying them, because I can't prevent what the crazies are going to do. Oh, but we're only publishing a letter to the editor. We're not saying it's our opinion. We're just giving a headline to Trump brings these assassination attempts on himself. And I said to them, I was like, congrats. Now do girls in short skirts. Well, yeah, she should have been dressed like that. Oh, and there is a line somewhere in there. Don't walk around the bad part of town at 3 a.m. Holding a handful of cash and then complain about having gotten mugged and potentially beaten. I mean, don't do that. We're not there right now. Oh, don't election deny is not running around town at 3 a.m. of a bad part of neighborhood with cash in your hands. Okay, it's not. So we have not yet reached the reductio ad absurdums where nobody can disagree with it. Now, where did I say it? Because I know that I told them. Oh, no, yeah, awesome. Now do girls with short skirts. Awesome, Inquirer. Now do women in short skirts. A special seat in hell is what you deserve for this. And they wonder why stuff is devolving. All right, but that's it. That's not it. We're hold on one second. Son of a beasting. Have I not even done this to make sure that we are? Oh, we got a $10 Rumble rant in the Rumbles. I'm not sure if our guest is coming today. What I think might have happened, there might be a mistake on the time or the day, but we'll see. If anybody knows Elle on Twitter, I tweeted at her, so we'll see. But otherwise, I got material to go. In fact, we were just going to talk about this, and I was going to pick her brain on some other stuff. But hold on. Here. Michael Sanford from the UK tried to take a gun from a Las Vegas police officer and shoot Trump at a rally in 2016. There's a documentary on it on YouTube. Oh, and there was the guy who rushed the stage. I don't know how you qualify that. Michael Sanford. That's from Stupidus Maximus, who actually seems to be Intelligentus Maximus. Crash Bandit says Alex Jones. What is that? Alex Jones, St1, discredit him. Step 1, discredit him. Step 2, bankrupt him. Step 3, prosecute him and lock him up. And step 4, if they have to try to kill him. Do you remember when they said that though? I forget about whom they said it. Well, we don't poison our political rivals in America. Oh, we can't be responsible for what loonies do, and they decide to go out and do things because Trump keeps running his mouth, but criticizing. Oh, you don't have to. They have to put in the word legal immigrants in Springfield. Legal only because the government bypasses all immigration protocol and just rubber stamps a TPS, temporary protected status. It's amazing. It's not illegal when the government does it. That's the tautology. Well, it's when the government murders somebody. Well, hey. They get to who else is going to execute the criminals? All right. Oh, well, they shot the guy while they were doing a 6 a.m. raid, because of Facebook posts. It was legit escalation. It's not an execution. We get to kill. The government gets to kill. The government gets to break all the laws because quite literally when they do it, it's not illegal because the government's doing it. Now, but you want to talk about facility. They can't stop it. You can't be responsible for what every crazy person does. They can't stop it, but it certainly and sure as hell seems that they are facilitating it. We briefly touched on this yesterday. This is from CanCon, who incidentally is going to be on Thursday. CanCon, actual Marine election denier, quote, writer, Gateway Pundit podcast. And now I understand a bit more of the details, and now a few more of the details have come out. The Secret Service, Trump keeps talking like this. He's going to bring out the crazies and the assassins, and we can't really do anything about it, especially when we keep closing our eyes and just, messing or effing up. But for the grace of God, it didn't happen the first time, and I don't think anybody can understand it. I mean, I like to think that, if nothing else good comes out of this, at the very least, you're going to have a generation of religious people who believe that they witnessed something of divine intervention, miracle that spared Trump his life. And that averted a World War III. But then, just 2 months later, just another one. But for the grace of God, if that one Secret Service agent hadn't seen the barrel of his gun pointing out of the bushes, it would have been a different discussion today. But so check this out. Let me see if I can read this. We brought it up yesterday briefly. This is I want to say probably from the affidavit or the charging documents. Officers from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, PBSO, Martin County Sheriff, located the Nissan as it traveled northbound on the I-95. By the way, the only reason they got the car was because a pedestrian, a civilian, took a picture of it because they saw it, I think, driving funny. sent that picture into authorities, and it had a license plate that they tracked down. The license plate was stolen, from what I understand. So it's not even, it's beyond the SS doing a shitty job. They're not doing their job, and they're relying on literal acts of God and literal acts of civilians to cater, to compensate for what they're failing to do by way of their own effing jobs. So the car's traveling down I-95. At approximately 2:14, initiated a motor stop. The driver and sole occupant of the Nissan was Routh. Shortly after the motor vehicle stop, Routh was asked if he knew why he was being stopped. He responded in the affirmative. Officers noted that the license plate attached to the Nissan is registered to a 2012 white Ford truck that had been reported stolen. How the hell, we're going to get into it in a second, how the hell is this guy getting a stolen plate from a truck that had been reported? I don't know when it was reported stolen, but it was reported stolen. It was a 2012, not necessarily reported stolen in 2012. Okay. During the course of the motor vehicle stop, law enforcement transported to the scene the witness who had previously observed Routh fleeing the area of the Trump International tree line. There's a witness who's witnessing this, and there's no Secret Service on that street setting up something of a sufficient perimeter of the Trump golf course. It makes total sense. It makes total sense if the Secret Service wanted this to happen. That's an assumption. That's getting to conclusions, and that's my conclusion based on the facts as we know it. It was a civilian that reported this because they saw it, and not Secret Service or law enforcement outside what was patently an unsecured perimeter for a second time in 2 months, leading to a second failed assassination attempt. It's mind-blowing. The witness identified Routh as the same individual, he, she, they. They don't want to misgender the witness. I'm joking. They probably just want to protect the identity, had previously seen entering the Nissan. During their investigations, law enforcement also discovered publicly viewable Facebook post from July 10, 2024, in which Routh directed his followers to contact him for an instant messaging app, whatever, at the following number. That number was, I think, available from his Twitter posts, which have now been scrubbed. Database checks indicate that a mobile phone assigned to that number is serviced by T-Mobile, yada, yada, yada. Okay, fine. Agents requested T-Mobile on an emergency basis to provide law enforcement with the information pertaining to Routh's mobile phone usage. Those records indicate that Routh's mobile phone was located in the vicinity of the area along the tree line described above from approximately 1:59 a.m. until 1:31 p.m. on September 15, 2024. So understand what that means. This is 2 o'clock in the morning. Some dipshit, psychopath, is on the tree line perimeter of the Trump golf course. Now, what we don't know is whether or not the vehicle was there with him at that time. One can surmise that he wasn't getting to and from there on foot because it's not that easily of an accessible place to go by foot. You're not going to come off the I-95 and then walk from your car from like 3 kilometers away. Or as you Americans like to say, 2 freedom miles away. 2 nautical freedom miles. So he's lingering in that area then from 2 o'clock in the morning. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. The hell's my problem? It's about 12 hours. 10 hours. He's lingering there for 10 hours, give or take. Whether or not he comes and goes back, scopes it out, goes back. He's there during the attempted assassination, and his car is parked there because that's how he was able to flee, get into his car, and scoot off. And but for the witness seeing that car, taking pictures of it, who knows where he might be right now? He might still be on the run. So amazing. Secret Service is doing their job so bloody well. They're relying on literal divine intervention and literal civilian assistance in order to capture the assailants or to foil the crimes. 12 hours, silhouettes self. Don't think he was meant to assassinate, but get attention and leave a good gun photo up to talk new gun laws, says Dave Martin. No, I think he was there to do something. You don't need the GoPro if that's what the purpose is. You don't need a GoPro to do that. 12 hours, silhouettes self. Big news, Viva. Libs lost by-election in Montreal. Maureen Brown. That's kind of good. We'll get there. I'll keep that in the backdrop. Has anyone seen some of Routh's videos? Doesn't he give you a Gary Busey vibe? Makes me expect the next words to be buttered sausage. Is the buttered sausage joke from Point Break? What was the guy's name in Point Break? Two good. Give me 2 dogs. 2. Oh, I forget the guy's name from it. Doesn't matter. He does give me a Gary Busey vibe without a question. So relying on divine intervention, relying on the assistance of strangers, civilians, these dumbasses get out and tout how good a job they're doing at protecting the presidents. Listen to this. First of all, this guy is trying to get the president killed, and he's trying to look like he's doing his job while he's trying to prevent it from happening, pulling out that meme. Hey, don't do anything stupid, people. We did our job real good, people. Didn't secure a bloody perimeter around a golf course while this guy had parked his car there for minutes to hours. No, but luckily, one of our agents saw the barrel of the gun sticking out, and this guy then took off and got apprehended. I made a prediction yesterday. I'll get to it after this. Here, listen to this. Listen to this guy.
But the long and short of it is this. Coming out of Butler, I have ordered a paradigm shift.
Oh, yeah. I have.
The Secret Service's protective methodologies work, and they are sound. And we saw that yesterday. But the way we are positioned right now in this dynamic threat environment, it has given me guidance to say, you know what? We need to look at what our protective methodology is. We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model. There could be another geopolitical event that could put the United States into a kinetic conflict or some other issue that may result in additional responsibilities and protectees of the United States Secret Service. And so we are working, we are making information available to all of our partners. And I just want to say that the commitment of Congress to the Secret Service throughout the years has been tremendous. And we will continue to work with them and Secretary Mayorkas, whose support in making sure that we're getting what we need has been phenomenal.
What did he say? I mean, you listen to a man talk for a minute, and what he spewed out was nothing but abject, meaningless verbal diarrhea. And first of all, I get to call him. Look at this guy's eyes.
But the long and short of it is this.
This guy's got the eyes
coming out of Butler. I have ordered.
Look at these eyes. Empty eye. It kind of looks like a blobfish, actually. If anybody's never seen the blobfish, go look up the blobfish. There's nothing going on in this guy's head. This is like, say the words, make it look professional, speak with that blinking Merrick Garland fake faux intellectual nasally. Okay, we're doing our job really good. Now we're going to go from preemptive to, what the hell did they say? He said nothing of substance throughout this minute, and it drives me nuts.
But the long and short of it is this. Coming out of Butler, I have ordered a paradigm shift.
Coming out of Butler, I have ordered. First of all, you all know my pet peeves in life. Broken glass and people who use the word I when you should be using the word we. This is what weak, incompetent dipshits do to pretend that they have control over a situation. I have ordered, after Butler, after the massive catastrophic intelligence failure to the point that it's so catastrophic it could not have happened by accident, I have ordered a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift? First of all, we. It's we. And it's a pet peeve of mine. I go to stores and I go to Dick's and I said, did you guys have a size 9.5? And he's like, I have a size. No, there's no I. This is a team. It's a we. They're not your shoes. They're the store's shoes. It's we. This is, if it's your agency, which you're in control of, what's his name again? Routh. Straight to jail. Straight to jail. No, but he's got it under control. I have ordered a paradigm shift.
The Secret Service's protective methodologies work, and they are sound. And we saw that yesterday.
They work, they are sound, and we saw that yesterday. They work so well, Corey Camperatore is dead now. 2 Americans grievously wounded, and but for the grace of divine intervention, we would be at World War III. Oh, they work fine, you absolute idiot. I mean, he should be fired for that. They work fine, and they worked yesterday. Yeah, some nutbag lunatic who seemingly either flew in from Ukraine or from Hawaii, procured a stolen vehicle with a firearm, got within 300 yards of the president by breaching an unsecured tree line on the golf course. By the way, a known weakness because paparazzi would get there too. He breached it. And but for his barrel sticking out and that one Secret Service agent who was doing a one hole ahead sweep would have killed President Trump. It works. This guy needs to go to jail. This guy needs to go to jail for abject criminal negligence. You don't just go to jail after someone gets their head blown off on television. No, it worked. It worked so freaking well. 2 people are shot, 1 person is dead, and the president has been attempted to be killed twice in 2 months. Oh, you're doing a bang-up job, bro, you jackass.
But the way we are positioned right now in this dynamic threat environment, it has given me guidance to say, you know what? We need to look at what our protective methodology is. We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model.
How about, just spitballing here, throwing ideas at the wall, how about you do what you're supposed to do, a preventative model? What did you just say? Actually, I can't get over.
We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model.
Get out of a reactive. What the hell is he even saying? I can't listen to the rest of this. What can you understand what he's saying? He's saying nothing. Reactive to readiness. Oh, I'm sorry. So you're saying the Secret Service was only there to react to assassination attempts and not to prevent? Like, right to jail, right away. Undercook the fish, jail. Overcook the chicken, jail. Miss your dentist appointment, jail. Fail twice to secure the most politically valuable assassination target in American history twice in 2 months, jail. It's not too much to ask for. And it's not anti-free speech. It's pro-consequence. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Oh, Lordy. I'm sorry. It's enraging. He sat there speaking for verbal diarrhea. We're going from reactive to reactionary, and I've deployed. I'd like to thank Mayorkas. Mayorkas has betrayed the country, facilitated an illegal invasion of the country he's supposed to protect, and they want to kill President Trump. I mean, it's at this point, it's not a miracle that it happened, that God forbid it should ever happen. It's a miracle that it hasn't happened. Oh, but and he wants to thank them for their resources. Oh, they knew of this weakness at the Trump golf course, and they go play golf. And I don't care. I understand it was off the record OTR, and it was a last minute decision. You get freaking Sheriff Brad, whatever his name is. Yeah, well, we don't secure that property because he's not the president. Very, very Democrat county as well, but set that aside. There's more. Went for a jog this morning, and it was not a fast jog. I feel like I'm getting slower. Holy hell. Cultivated mind. Breaking news. Kamala Harris was just announced safe from an attempted interview. Luckily, she was able to cut it short. Hold on. I don't know what happened, and I don't want to be... Let me just make sure that there has been no attempt. And there's been no attempt on her life. The funny thing is, like, nobody has to tell the right, the conservatives, and I'll say I'll call it MAGA because I believe there's a significant portion of the GOP that's part of the Uni Party that wants Trump dead as well. I mean, Rick fucking Wilson is prime example, or used to be. But you don't have to tell MAGA don't commit violence because they know, and they're not insane, batshit crazy lunatics like the guy we're looking at right now in the thumbnail, who sit there talking about, what was it? Oh, look at my puppy dog face. I'm such a humanitarian. Oh, it's good versus evil, and somehow I think I'm good by trying to kill somebody. Like you don't have to tell MAGA not to do that because they know not to do that. And if they know not to do that only because the full force of a politicized Mayorkas, Merrick Garland judicial law enforcement system will come down and ruin their lives. If only for that they know not to. Don't be a fucking idiot, because if you do it, they're going to come down and ruin your life. They also don't need to be told not to do it because they're moral, and I would dare say it might be somewhat inextricably or connected to being religious gang. They're a moral, religious, God-fearing people. And this is, I'm trying not to notice connections, but when you have a godless, soulless, amoral entity of people who believe that they are the ultimate God in their universe, that government is the ultimate God, they'll do anything because they only have to answer to themselves. Ron Schoolcraft in Rumble says Trump did not lose the election of 2020. Mr. Magoo was not elected president in 2022. Trump did not try to overturn the election. He tried to stop it from being overturned. He failed. I say, I get into this fight all the time. To the extent that we all recognize that the Hunter Biden laptop story was censored unlawfully by intelligence that pressured social media to do what the government could not do directly, 2020 was stolen. Period. Unequivocally, you do not get to argue with me over that point, or anybody for that matter. Unequivocally, that alone. I don't necessarily agree that Dominion was flipping votes and that there was the ghost of Hugo Chavez and German servers and all that stuff. I don't even have to go there. They changed the rule. They did exactly what they described in that Time magazine article to fortify the election. But the bottom line, it was stolen only because we all admit, as a matter of fact, intelligence lied about the authenticity of the Hunter Biden laptop story, pressured social media companies to censor it, which they did, which tilted the election, period, stolen. And nobody can disagree with that. And if they do, they're idiots and probably Democrats. What does that say? Ratatosker 13, a bit of a Steelman. How is, quote, Trump a threat to democracy, end quote, worse than Harris? A Harris presidency will be the end of freedom, and similar right-wing commentary. Well, fair question. Hold on. Fair question. And let me see if I can actually pull this up. Let me just think of where I saw this. Give me 30 seconds to find it because it's an interesting thing here. Threat to democracy. Let me see if I can find the particular video that I had in mind, because it was someone saying Trump said that Kamala is a threat to democracy. Son of a beasting. See, my Twitter feed serves as a running diary, a descent into madness, if you will, political madness. But someone had put this video out and said, "Oh, look, oh God, you call them a threat to democracy," which people complain about, because if something's a threat to democracy, it's an existential threat, and you are basically morally justified in your own mind, your own demented, unhinged mind, to do whatever you can to neutralize that threat to democracy. But even the clip that was going around of Trump saying it was straight up a response to Kamala calling Trump a threat to democracy. And he literally said, she calls me a threat to democracy. She's the threat to democracy. And you see what they do. They beat you. They abuse you. They lie about you. And then they vilify you and victimize you again when you respond to the abuse. And that's Darvo. That is clinical narcissism of being the victimizer and then victimizing the victim again when they defend themselves. Trump said, Kamala Harris says I'm the threat to democracy. She is. And by the way, she's not a threat to democracy. She has already violated democracy. Her being hand-selected, shitting on the votes of 14 million primary voters is not a threat to democracy. It's the destruction of democracy. Oh, but she got elected by the delegates after. She violated the democratic principles of primaries by stabbing Joe Biden in the back and, by all accounts, pressuring him through hook and by crook. And it seemed to be by threats of 2050ing his senile ass. She stole that. So she's not a threat to democracy. She just violated it. Okay, now let me go back to these chats here. So that's the Steelman reply to that. Like, first of all, if they call you a threat to democracy, you can reply that they are the threat to democracy. A. B, when you say that they are a threat to democracy because they're facilitating an invasion of the southern border, and then they want to talk about either naturalizing or what is it called when you amnesty all of the illegals, that is a literal threat to democracy. That is facilitating the unlawful invasion and the conversion into a one-state party in perpetuity until it collapses like Venezuela of a country. And also, it kind of goes with how you, in conjunction with what other statements you're making it. Calling someone Hitler day in and day out. What was the other one here? I'm going to bring this guy up. Let's put another jackass on blast. When you say that Trump policies are killing women, here, hold on. Here. By the way, it depends on how you do it. So here, you're a day after the election. This is what set me off last night. This is what triggered me, if we're going to use that word. When you're a day after the assassination attempt, and it is by and large as a result of catchphrases that the person, this batshit crazy lunatic Routh, tried to do this. You notice how many tweets he put out that said democracy is on the ballot? He might have only put out a few. He was brainwashed by these phrases to go and try to kill President Trump. He was. Democracy is on the ballot were in his tweets. democracy is on the ballot is the talking point of the mockingbird media and the scoundrel politicians who want to have Trump nixed and 86th, but not in the sense of taken off the menu, metaphorically. The Lincoln Project comes out the day after the assassination. This is September 16 attempt, my apologies. The day after the assassination attempt, and says Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy. And I cussed. And I said, these motherfuckers know exactly what they're doing. It's a game to them. They know damn well that even prior to the second assassination attempt, this is the type of rhetoric that gets people to say he's an existential threat, therefore I'm justified in doing whatever I need to do in order to protect my existence. They know it. They do it after the attempt, while the discussion is going on, as like a Libertarian Party of New Hampshire type edgy tweet. Hey, Trump, F you. You're a threat to democracy. You hear that, nutbags? Anyone else coming back from Ukraine who wants to try to protect your democracy, protect the existential threat? And they do it, and they know damn well what they're doing. And they are evil. There's no way of phrasing it differently. They do that, and hold up. There was another great one yesterday. Here, this guy. Like characters out of Idiocracy, except it's not funny. This guy, I saw him recently on television, world-class POS, but he comes out. A lie coupled with rhetoric that gets people killed. Trump abortion bans kill women. Now, A, it's a lie. And B, if you read the story, you'll know what happened in this story had nothing to do with any so-called, quote, Trump abortion ban. And B, all right, what am I at now? C, whatever. There's also no such thing as a, quote, Trump abortion ban, period, full stop. But call it that. And then say that Trump abortion bans kill women. And you say that Trump, you can put a ... in there, and it won't change much of the meaning, kills women. What do you think you're going to do? I mean, if there was ever a soy boy white knight who's going to go out and take Trump out to protect women, he looks exactly like that Routh character. And he does this the day after the failed assassination attempt, the second one. Eli Mistel. Look at this. Hold on. I mean, if I didn't know better, I would say that this man kind of looks like Seth Rogen a little bit. If I didn't know better, I would say this was a parody account. I mean, who the hell posts a picture like that, proud of what they look like? That's like literally the neckbeards that they make fun of on Reddit. And then he comes out and says this the day after. I hear some people screaming outside. He literally looks like a cartoon character of someone who is a parody shitposting on Twitter, but he isn't. And he comes out and says, Trump ... kills women. I mean, that is the point of his message the day after the second failed assassination attempt. And these are the jackasses who then come out and lecture Trump on his rhetoric being the problem. These are the ones coming out and lecturing us on how political violence is not tolerated. They don't tolerate it. This is political violence, by the way. You want to understand what political violence is? Rhetoric like this is political violence, and it leads to the actual violence, which are the two failed assassination attempts on Donald Trump. Let's see what else we got up here. Oh, here, let's just get a... No, that's not the one. That's not the right one of Hillary Clinton. Hold on one second. There was another one of Hillary Clinton. I think it's. I know. Let's just pull this one up. It's a good summary of the situation. Here, listen to this. I'm gonna go get a beverage out of the fridge. Here, check this out.
What does the fact that he wanted to survive say to you?
It says that he's not. First, he's not suicidal, apparently. He wasn't going to take his own life if he was almost being captured. Clearly, we saw that he was captured without that. And it tells me that he's probably much more politically motivated. The last shooter in Pennsylvania, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to promote him in any way, but he was clearly a guy that was looking for the notoriety of taking that shot. I would think we're going to find that this guy's extremely politically motivated. and that he probably was spurred on by much of the political diatribes that are going on these days, talking about Trump, equating him to Hitler and things like that. So I don't think this is the last we'll see of crazies out there trying to do this.
What does the fact that he wanted to survive say to you?
It says that he's not he's not suicidal. Apparently, he wasn't going to take his own life if he was almost being captured. Clearly, we saw that he was captured without that.
Well, we wouldn't listen to a second time, but I was listening to Bongino briefly before going live, and he and I do actually respect his opinion almost more than mine, where he's of the opinion that this guy ultimately might have chickened out of suicide by cop, and maybe he didn't get what he needed to get done, and he chickened out of either taking his own life or going down in a hail of gunfire, while proudly and courageously trying to take down the man who kills women and the man who's a threat to our democracy. I disagree. In as much as you can read into a photograph, the photos of him getting arrested, he looks like a true believer, and he looks like someone who thinks he was doing the right thing and is doesn't care about the consequences. But we'll see. I also predict that he's not going to make it through prison because he was supposed to be taken out, if not voluntarily. He wasn't supposed to be surviving to tell any tales about how he got that car, who was funding his lifestyle for the last little while, where he got that gun, how he got the information as to where Trump was going to be, when he was going to be there. I don't think he was supposed to survive to tell all that, and he did. And I don't think he's going to survive much. I mean, look, it's a sick world that we're living in, but I don't think he's going to. I don't think they're going to pull the Epstein on him. I think they're actually going to just pull some prison violence and say, oh, Florida. I don't know where he's being incarcerated. I don't know if he's in solitary. I presume he should be. But someone angry. An angry MAGA inmate killed him because of what he tried to do to their MAGA leader. Hold on. Give me 1 second. The dog needs to get out of here. Oh, get out. Here. But just coming back to the end of this, what he says at the end, there's going to be more. There's going to be more, but don't worry, because Roe is in, what was he in now? He was in reactive. He was in, I even forget the verbal diarrhea because it made so little sense. Don't worry about it. They're into reaction mode now.
Equating him to Hitler and things like that. So I don't think this is the last we'll see of crazies out there trying to do this.
What's the fact that?
And but I'm sure Secret Service is on it. And Secret Service is like, don't worry. This is like, what movie was it? And the chat's going to have to help me on this. It was a movie about a drug dealer or a drug lord who was taken to prison. And I don't know how he got some television access or whatever, but he basically put out a call and said, $1 million to whoever breaks me out of prison. And then the whole plot of the movie were nutcases trying to break him out of prison as he was being transported from one prison to the next. What movie was it? I just remember the ad. I never actually saw the movie, and we're talking like 20 plus years ago. Was it called SWAT? Let me see this here. SWAT movie. Crap, my internet's now got the wheel of death again. Come on, man. And now I can't even toggle between screens. Give me a second here. It's going to come back. Serenity Prayer. Give me the courage. There we go. SWAT the movie, 2003. Absolutely. Dude, I might have to watch that movie. It kind of looks good. Samuel Jackson, Colin Farrell. 48% on Rotten Tomato. Michelle Rodriguez, Jeremy Renner. Yep. Olivier. Oh, it is Olivier Martinez. And LL Cool J. Okay, I haven't seen the movie. Someone tell me if it's crap. That movie sucks hard. Okay, well, then I won't waste my time. But bottom line, this is like the same plot. When the Secret Service comes out and says, yeah, we're in reactive mode now. We're really going to make sure that hey, anybody thinking of doing this again, we're going to be one step ahead of you. We're going to secure 2 golf course holes, not just 1. It's every time that stupid scumbag Roe opens his mouth on national television, he is announcing not the securities surrounding President Trump, but the vulnerabilities. And it's an open invitation to every nutcase lunatic out there that Trump and the Secret Service, Trump is being guarded by a Secret Service that is objectively corrupt, incompetent, and maybe even worse. Yeah. That's what it is. It's like there's every nutcase out there. That's how bad the Secret Service is. All you need to do Walk up, park your car on a street for however many hours it was there, and walk through some bushes and wait. Holy crab apples. Let me see something else here. There was something else that I wanted to share here. All right, and Trump talked about it last night during his Twitter space. So listen to this, and this will give me some time to enjoy my nice caffeinated beverage that has 20 grams of added sugar to it, as if I needed that. Listen here.
So I was playing golf with some of my friends. It was on a Sunday.
Can't bring that audio up, damn it.
And very peaceful, very beautiful weather. Everything was beautiful. It was a nice place to be. And all of a sudden we heard shots being fired in the air. And I guess probably 4 or 5. And it sounded like bullets, but what do I know about that? But Secret Service knew.
What do you know? But you know a lot more now, and you probably know more than twice in 2 months. I think you know what bullet sounds like now.
It was bullets. And they grabbed me, and I think probably the other one, Steve, is one of the people, Steve Woodcock, a great friend of mine, a great businessman from mostly New York and Florida, great businessman. And more importantly, just a fantastic person. So we're in the group. And everybody we got into the carts and we moved along pretty good. I was with an agent, and the agent did a fantastic job. There was no question that we were off that course. I would have loved to have sank that last putt, but we decided, well, let's get out of here.
The man can't play it around. He can't play a round of golf. I mean, it's obvious he will be a target, and he will be at risk for the rest of his life. Very selfish man, by the way. You know, if only he had just shut his mouth, this wouldn't have happened. You know, nobody would have done this to him. But if he's running, you know, out of selfishness. That's why he's not squandered his golden years, but that's why he has sacrificed what should be his golden years of playing golf and eating at fancy restaurants. So the man will be a target for the rest of his life and can't play a bloody round of golf on his own golf course without people trying to literally kill him like SWAT. Although on SWAT, they were trying to really... But then, no question, on an individual basis, the Secret Service individuals, people shielding him with their lives because they could be killed too. But, you know, what wouldn't make a difference in the overarching incompetence of the Secret Service system as a whole and the heads of it, which I firmly believe want certain things to happen. And they want to normalize, just, you know, like whitewash assassination attempts as political violence and just normalize assassination attempts where at the end of the day, they want people to say, well, it was bound to happen. But evil, like evil, that's what they want. They want people to actually just sit there. If, and God forbid, there's going to be another attempt to say, it was bound to happen. What could they do? You know, determined people can't keep everyone safe. He should have just shut his mouth. Should have worn a dress that short. Got what she asked for. Old guys' opinions, not just Secret Service, but it is a majority of the top in the Beltway and many of the career leadership and agencies of departments in the administration. Well, I tend to agree. I mean, look, so you see what's going on in Springfield. I mean, look, it's tough to... It's gotten to the point where you just like, if you see any diversity, if you see anyone who fits a DEI category in a position of power where shit's going sideways, you say it's a DEI situation. See what that police chief in Springfield looks like when she gives her, you know, alleged bomb threats and comes out and gives a pre-written statement, takes no questions. She looks like an absolute incompetent hack who's unfit to do the job that she's doing, if only because she's physically unfit to do the job that she's doing. I'm physically more appropriately abled to be a police chief than that woman. No, now Viva's fat shit. They think they're physically incapable, mentally incapable, psychologically incapable, and they lack the skills to do the job that they're supposed to do. Ed 2276, the very last thing the left should want is to succeed with this. If they open that door, a number of leftist leaders... Well, by the way, incidentally, I don't even want to read the rest of this because I don't want anyone misconstruing that as being a threat. That's the only reason why I'm convinced that any lefty politician is coming out and saying, we better tamp this down. But we got less protection than Trump. And the people who, if they ever decide to flip their shit and do this to us, you know, they're not half-assed nutcase hacks like Routh. It was not Con Air, one guy's opinion. The difference is that one has actually... Oh, the difference is that one has actually said to expire commie comrade, K. The difference is that not one. The difference is that no one has actually said to do that to come on. No, that's the whole point. There's a meme that shows two overlapping rings. Yeah, dodging bullets and dodging questions. One with Trump and one with Harris, and the words bullets and interviews, and the dodging is in the middle. It's a very, very good meme. I'm surprised that no one has taken the Phil Hellmuth, I can dodge bullets, baby. Does everyone remember that? I can dodge bullets, baby. It's a, well, I don't know if everybody's into poker as much as I used to, but Phil Hellmuth's best quotes. I can dodge bullets, baby. That's when he folded to some, when he called someone's, no, he folded his aces and then came up with that great one. And yeah, but yeah, that it's an overlapping image. It's got Trump's face, Kamala's face, and in the middle it says dodging, and then you got bullets and interviews, and the Venn diagram overlaps at dodging. It's quite genius. Old guy's opinion. One old guy's opinion before this shift was, what was their world view? Was it to be subpar or being trained at the asshat partisan academy? During the press conference, could have sworn he was calling himself and the other feds asshats, but was saying assets. Okay, I get the joke now. Old guy's opinion. Maureen Brown, big news, Viva Montreal by-election. Okay, fine. And now let me just see what we got. And I'm going to go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com in a second. This right here. I think I see something purple. King of Biltong. We had a site upgrade, then experienced an issue with our free shipping codes. This has now been restored. Get yourself some healthy, high-protein snacks at biltongusa.com. Viva 10 for 10% off. Yeah, biltong. It's like prosciutto. It's like beautiful beef prosciutto. It's delicious. Okay. There was one other thing that I was going to bring up here. It was the oh yeah, here. Hold on. Wait a minute. There was another one. What do you have to say here? I think this is the same one that we saw before.
But the long and short of it is this. Coming out of Butler,
yeah, we saw this one.
I have ordered a paradigm shift.
I have ordered it. I'm in control. Me. Jackass. Okay. That is not what I wanted to bring up. Was it this one? This is the one I wanted to bring up earlier. The Hillary Clinton talking about violence and, just encouraging people to go out and do bad things to existential threats.
And I don't understand why it's so difficult for
I don't understand why I'm not up by 50 points.
And I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. The late, great journalist, Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it, And
this was after, unless I'm mistaken, this was after the assassination attempt, the second one. Stick with it. I mean, what's she explaining here, by the way? MK Ultra level brainwashing. That is what she's explaining right here. Stick with it. Messaging, danger, danger, danger. Like what they did with COVID. Like what they did with the vaccine, like what they did with Ukraine, like what they did with 2S LGBTQIA plus nonsense about, violence against the community. Incidentally, there is violence against the community. It just happens to statistically overwhelmingly come from within the community, but set that aside. In Canada, when they talked about genocide against Indigenous Canadians, the majority of the murders were Indigenous men murdering Indigenous women, but they blame that on white Europeans. But, set that aside. Messaging. Just keep hammering it, because we've seen what happened now. For 10 years, they've been saying Trump is Hitler. He's a danger, existential threat to democracy, going to turn America into Nazi Germany. 2 attempts to kill him. And this sick hag of an evil demon who's looking more and more like George Soros every day comes out and says, yeah, we need to keep hammering it home. Danger, 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 Will Robinson. The day after, as if she does not know what she's doing. And then the ultimate kick in the teeth. And if you've seen my vlog from yesterday, this won't be a surprise to you. They're going after and I shouldn't say anybody of any meaningful import is going after, Elon Musk because of a tweet that he made and then deleted. And he learned a lesson. Don't delete the tweet, because you delete in a sense you delete the evidence and you make it even more inculpating, or you make yourself look guilty when you delete the tweet, and you're actually potentially deleting potentially exculpatory evidence, as in this was obviously never intended to be anything of a threat. American Muckraker, and I don't know how long they've had the name for, but I thought it had something to do with James O'Keefe, who wrote the book American Muckraker. But no, I think they just stole the name, or I mean, I know it's an old concept, but created confusion in my mind because I'm like, why would American Muckraker, a James O'Keefe associated entity or book, whatever, why would they be going after Elon Musk? Oh dear, they're going after how did I not realize this yesterday? They're writing it to the jackass that we just saw talking over there. You know, they've gone into a pro, whatever the hell he said. Dear Acting Director Rowe, we are American Muckrakers, yada, yada, yada. They want the Secret Service to investigate Elon Musk for this tweet. Doge designer, who was actually the one who clipped that audio from Trump's Twitter space yesterday, says why they want to kill Donald Trump. Why they want to kill him. To which Elon Musk says, and no one's even trying to assassinate Biden Kamala. There's no one in the world that reads that as any form of a threat. Actually, I only read it as, yeah, nobody's talking about violence to them, and yet their side, because it is their side, I don't give a shit if you think that Crooks was a registered Republican and donated through Act Blue, much in the same way Routh did. No one's doing anything in terms of violence or even the call to violence to them, and yet they're trying to kill Trump. That's how I read it. That's how anyone with half a brain reads it. Apparently, muckrakers don't have half a brain. And they want, was there a page 2 to it? Then they go through threats and intimidation. You can't do, they're calling on Mike Rowe, not Mike Rowe. What's his name? Ronald Rowe, whatever the hell his name is, Rowe from the Secret Service to go investigate Elon Musk. Oh man. And then that's it. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if it happens. I mean, if they show up to investigate Elon Musk or even just harass him, it's amazing. But the funniest thing was, while we're in the realm of bad faith interpretations of calls to violence, why don't we just go look at, if you look at American Muckrakers, you look at their avatars, Trump Epstein 2024. Are they calling for Trump to be Epstein? Someone might think that. Maybe someone should go investigate Muckrakers. Maybe Mike Rowe's going to say, yeah, I saw your Twitter avatar, and you look like you're calling for some violence on Trump with your avatar. Maybe we should investigate you, biatch. Oh, how'd that work out? Not the way you thought, did it? What else? Let's see what's going on in the chat over on Rumble. But hold on, actually, before we do anything, I haven't taken, we're going to go and take the tips and some questions from our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. Encryptus, amazing member of our community, says, are there bets on the markets for if the would-be assassin would be suicided? I haven't checked Polymarket Encryptus, but I would never bet on something like that. Anyhow, that is fundamentally immoral. Like there's markets for whether or not there'll be a ceasefire, whether or not the hostages will be released from Israel, and like that's it's betting on markets is one thing. Betting on political events is one thing. That's like you're summoning evil demons by doing that. Encryptus says, is anyone talking about BlackRock connection to both the assassination attempts? Both were in BlackRock commercials. Encryptus, I have to see the BlackRock commercial. I don't know about that. I thought the guy appeared in an Azov battalion propaganda video. I don't know what BlackRock had to do with that. But the thing about the BlackRock connection, it sort of might turn into the, to some extent, like where everyone's like, oh, I found the Jewish connection because there's a Jewish person. I mean, BlackRock is probably an entity that has its tentacles virtually everywhere. And so I'm not sure that I don't know what importance I would place on that, and I'm not even sure that the second ad of the guy was BlackRock. I don't know, but I'll double check that. Remember the shorts of Donald John Trump by the BlackRock subsidiary just before they made it look like it never happened. It definitely did. Yep. Ali Michael says, Viva, you are more American and patriotic than most U.S. citizens. You are 100% correct about the Secret Service. That was Ali Michael, $5 tip. Thank you. Ganthet, devil's advocate, Viva. The left has painted Trump as being worse than Hitler and the end of America. If you're passionate and righteous who loves the country, violence seems like the only avenue, as a Trump victory seems certain. There's no question. That's by design. That was Ganthet. And then Pasha Moyer says, the United States Secret Service acting head case. Is this quote from Isaac Asimov's Foundation series? Okay, so there's a quote from Isaac Asimov Foundation. It says, the analysis was the most difficult of the three by all odds. When Hoke, after 2 days of steady work, succeeded in eliminating meaningless statements, vague gibberish, useless qualifications, in short, all of the goo and dribble, he found he had nothing left. Everything canceled out. Lord Darwin, gentlemen, in 5 days of discussion, didn't say one damn thing and said it so you've never noticed. Yeah, that's beautiful. Then we got Spam Ranger, $5. He says, Bible Scribe is highlighting news stories that Harris is a participant in a criminal scam to profiteer from illegal conversions of former military bases previously used for nuclear, chemical, or biological activities to residential housing. This occurred in the San Francisco Bay Area. This resulted in injuries from radiation burns to children playing in the soil, cancer deaths. Please look into this. There's a video on it, news stories on it. Yes, Spam, I've seen those, and I will. Then we got Denise Antu, who says, as Joe Neerman, aka Good Logic, says, Harris is Hillary without the body count. Harris is Hillary without the body count. Well, there's a good joke in there somewhere, because I bet you Harris has a higher body count than Hillary, just not in the Arkansas sense, but maybe in the nookie me so hungry type sense. But yeah, so that is what we have in our locals community. Now let me see one thing here, and I think what we're going to do, details. Let me just bring this up here. Make sure I got everything. Well, we'll get our guest back on another episode, I guess. I don't know what happened. I hope everything's okay, but let me see here. Make sure we've got everything before they didn't allow Epstein to go to trial to become a felon. That's the old guy's opinion. Then we got one Harvey Island partaking crazy. Okay, dude. Then we got, what do we got? Not just Secret Service, but the majority. Okay, we got all of this. All right. What we're gonna do, we're gonna head on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the after party in a second. Let me make sure that I got everything that I came to get to in today's episode. I'll save one thing I'll save a number of things for our after party. But before we go anywhere, thank you to our sponsors, the Wellness Company, 1775. But let me shamelessly plug our own merch. Oh, I got to get the new design up from our community. Viva Fry, get some merch, people. Fight. If it comes up, trucker hat, it's beautiful. We got Viva Barnes 2024, although we're not running for anything except for the most above average community out there. You can get a lawn sign, get Don't Vote for an Idiot mug. God, she's an idiot. And my favorite is the Ephesian, but also the best one we ever made was coffee mug, wanted for President Trump mugshot. All right, everybody. Tomorrow's show will be later on in the afternoon, and I think David Menzies is coming on to talk about what's going on in Springfield. That'll be at 4:00 because we've got an unusual suspect with a very special guest. I think I'm allowed to. Screw it if I'm not allowed to. David Icke is going to be on tomorrow, and so I've been boning up on David Icke. That sounds really gross. I have been catching up on David Icke controversy, information, opinions, perspectives, conspiracies. So the Unusual Suspects tomorrow is going to be with David Icke as the panel, and it's going to be fantastic. So I'll only be able to get to go live towards the afternoon, and it's going to work out well in any case for having David Menzies on to talk about what's happening on the street. David Menzies, Rebel News reporter, has been covering now in Springfield, Ohio. So we'll see what's going on there. And then Thursday, CanCon. Do I know his real name? I don't. The CanCon Actual is going to be on, and we're going to talk obviously about more second failed assassination updates. He's been following it and doing great work on the Twitterverse. So with that said, let me go to the commentary. Love the Menzoid, says Lulu Bobs. And then we got Mike the V Dub says, what two things in the air got Kamala promoted throughout her career? I saw her legs ... and I thought there was more to it. I'm like, wait a minute, where? I can't see the rest of that. Oh, that's right. That is the punchline. Okay, that's funny. And now let's go back to Rumble for a second to end this with some chat over there. Who goes what with the chat? Yes, Brian CanCon. One person, one vote says, yep. Polish Dog. I think Trump was going to pick Ben Carson until the assassination attempt, and then went Vance after that. Now, I didn't see Candace Owens yesterday's show, but I noticed that she had a bad premise for the show, which was Trump needs to drop Vance and go with an assassination-proof VP. And like, Candace, that's a very, very wrong position, and you would know that it's wrong if you had watched our show, Candace. Brian Lupo. Oh, I know who Brian Lupo is. Okay, so that's head of broccoli. Okay, I'm not reading that comment. Remember, Hinckley was the George H.W. Bush. He was the Reagan VP at the time. Family friend. What a coincidence. That was from Sean Keane. And then we got human trafficker are the modern day slave traders, says AR16. Candace is going whack on something, says Polish dog. It's just she's attention getting. Well, but the thing is, I don't think that it's attention getting, because nobody would want to get attention if it came at the expense of their reputation and their credibility and what they're respected for, their intellect. I don't want to. It's not a question of fighting. It's just it's a terrible premise. It's a wrong premise. JD Vance is the assassination insurance against Trump. There's a reason why the deep state scum of the earth were angry with that pick. I understand she probably thinks it's RFK Jr., but he's just as good in the administration and almost better off as still a potential, third party candidate. But she doesn't understand. It's just I didn't hear the show, so maybe she's got arguments that are not terrible, but I doubt it. But Viva, shouldn't we ask, why would the evil left want JD Vance over Trump? Isn't Vance 100% MAGA? They wouldn't want JD over Trump. That's why they would. But the bottom line also is, like, they want to trigger World War III. When you talk, when that Roe guy comes out and talks about a paradigm shift, and there might be global events that might get America into a kinetic war, a successful assassination attempt on Donald Trump will result in World War III. Period. So, if you look up the history of World War I and the series of events and the assassination that led to global alliances, each backing each other in escalating conflicts, and then one bullet. And the assassination also on Franz Ferdinand, where he escaped the first attempt and they got him on the second. You know what? I didn't even think about that. I'm saying it out loud right now. At the time, that was one of my phobias. What's the word I'm looking for? Superstitious phobias. And I didn't want to phrase it because as I was reading on the history of World War I, just to refresh my memory, I studied it at McGill University. I don't remember a damn thing. Franz Ferdinand escaped the first assassination attempt, and then they didn't change his route or something. And then one of the would-be assassins sees Franz Ferdinand parked at a stop sign, and then goes up to the window and shoots him and kills him on the second attempt. Trump just survived the second attempt, so now I cannot worry about that thought, like bringing about. They got him the second try. They didn't get him the second try. It's just like the dude has to understand, and I hope he does, and I think he does, but he's still surrounded by a Secret Service that is it's not incompetent. It's by design. The higher ups at the Secret Service, right up to Mayorkas, want Trump out. Period. And anybody who thinks that's not the case is just not paying attention. Okay. I could go all day, but I shouldn't, because we got to save something to talk about for tomorrow. So we'll get Elle. She'll come back. Maybe she'll come on tomorrow, or maybe later this week. And everyone who's watching this show, looking at that thumbnail, is gonna be like, "What the hell? Who was that woman in the thumbnail that he didn't talk about and didn't appear on the show?" She'll be back on. Something must have happened, and I hope nothing's wrong. So, Viva Fry for merch, people. VivaBarnesLaw.locals.com. You could be a member, and you don't have to. You just register, get an email. And you can get these things called coins, so you can do whatever you want with the coins. You can support any creator on Locals with the coins. Or if you want to support monthly, it's $10 a month, or you can get the whole year for $100. A ton of great content, exclusive content, Bourbon with Barnes. But the vast majority of the content on our community is not behind any paywall, only for supporters. But there's obviously stuff that's exclusively for supporters, so we can thank those who allow us to do what we do and continue to do what we do independently. I want to make the joke that, like, we pick the advertisers that we want, and it's beautiful, and we can continue doing what we're doing. Thank you very much, everybody, for doing that. And that is it. So we're going to end it on all of the platforms except for Locals, and it's not going to be only for supporters today. It'll be for everybody. Come on over here. Let me give everybody the link. Link to Locals. There you go, and link to Locals. Boom. And so that's it. The schedule for the week. It's going to be great. Tomorrow, Menzies, Thursday, CanCon. Friday, who the heck knows? And we'll see what happens as things go along. And before you go, people, hit the thumbs up and make sure that you have notifications turned on. Let me just see before we go. In locals, we have 0 thumbs up and 0 thumbs down, but that's only because I haven't refreshed. 479 thumbs up. Give a few more before you leave. There's 6,000 people watching. And subscribe. And on CommieTube, do the same thing, but go over to Rumble. It's the better place to be. And now come on over to local. So ending on